Frasiacs, welcome in. Welcome in. It is true. A lot of you have asked. They're like, you have a new background, Sarah. Did you buy a house? We bought a house. I did a whole deep dive. My husband joined the podcast on Friday, by the way, if you want to catch that episode. But we are moved into our new house. Do you know anyone in Los Angeles who designs podcast studios? Because I got a lot of work to do. I got to read. I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep the infamous lip wallpaper that I had in my old studio, or if I'm going to kind of do a different look. And I also want to be able to have some guests at my place. So I may have to redo it. I don't know. Anyway, if you know anybody that is a podcast set designer in Los Angeles, should be easy to find. Please let me know. I am looking because right now it's a very plain background. You can catch me on YouTube as well. I have my famous banana leaf faux plant, but minus that, she's looking barren. So I've got to be working on that. Okay, we have a lot to get to. A ton that has gone down over the weekend. Let's get you caught up on all things pop culture. We're going to start with, everybody knows the Coldplay CEO and the head of HR that were caught at the Coldplay concert, owned a kiss cam. And, they both were married. Whoops. The whole thing was a shit show. However, Kristen Abbott, who is the woman that, hid, and the HR director of this company, is now getting an unlikely supporter. Okay. And she has also filed for divorce. And a lot has come out about Christine Cabot. I don't know if this is positive PR, but basically people are saying this isn't as scandalous on Kristen's end as the whole thing was made out to be. Okay. But Kristen Cabot has initially filed for divorce in New Hampshire to her husband, who is supposed to be a wealthy, old school, old money Bostonian. We're going to get into that. Christine Brown Woolley from Sister Wives. I'm going to hit all the Sister Wives tea first. First of all, I have to thank major publications who have covered the podcast over the past week. And I believe I'm the only podcaster to have an interview with Christine Brown Woolley about her book being released. So I'll tell you some of the biggest stories they're picking up from our interview. On top of that, in the book, which by the way, I have the book, I've started reading Sister Wives, a memoir, being a Mormon, losing a Mormon, being addicted to Oxy. My grandfather got murdered. Anyway, no, I'm kidding. Okay, I'm kidding. Sorry, bad joke. All right, whatever. There's a lot of themes in the book. All right, I'm halfway through the book and I'm going to do a deep dive this week. It's called Sister Wives, a memoir of faith, family, and finding freedom. But this is bonkers. It should be leaving the church, polygamy blows. Oh, and Kody turned out to be a douche. Sister Wives, a memoir. That's what it should have been titled. It should have been there's a lot more there. I'm halfway through the book. It's bonkers. But some of the other big revelations that Christine has made, Oxycontin addiction, brief, but an addiction. We'll talk about that. And she's related to Meryl Streep. What? So much to get into. And then on top of that, I'll hit some other pop culture stories, especially too. I know everybody is watching the Unknown Number documentary on Netflix. There's an update. Where's the crazy mom who, spoiler alert, did it, was texting her daughter and this other guy, ex-boyfriend. Where are all the people in that documentary now? And, since this documentary has come out, a lot of people believe that the daughter knew it was the mother all along. In the documentary, towards the end, the last month before the mom is outed by the FBI, the daughter says, yeah, I kind of had a suspicion it was her. A lot of people call BS and say she knew long time prior to that it was her mother. So we're going to get into where are they now. I love that it's from Beale City, Michigan, where this went down, because y'all know my husband, Shmano, grew up in West Bloomfield, Michigan. Not that they're that close, but Michigan is a crazy state. They produce so many celebrities in Michigan, and y'all got some whack jobs too. I guess that's every state, but it can get wacky in Michigan. I don't know what it is. Okay. That and other pop culture stories to get to. Let's start where we usually start, with Sister Wives. Okay. First of all, thank you. You guys have made my show a top trending, Sister Wives podcast. It's become so big. Mary Brown's been on. Christine Brown Woolley gave me the only podcast interview to promote her book. If you missed this interview, please go watch. You can watch on YouTube. You can always listen to the podcast and subscribe because you never know who's going to pop up on this show. I need to shout out People, Us Weekly, OK Magazine, just some of the numerous publications, Parade, that picked up our interview. Here's some of the biggest things they're picking up. One, how Christine believes Kody is going to do on Special Forces, which, by the way, when I asked her, she's like, I refuse to watch him. David's going to watch. And let's just hope his military or physical skills are as big as his ego. Like, let's hope they're as strong as his ego is. Okay. That's making headlines going everywhere. And then the other thing that's been really big from that interview is Christine reacting to Kody and Robin potentially taking on a new sister wife. Okay. And people like have a lot of controversy about her answer on my show. Okay. I asked her point blank. I said, the trailer, we have to talk about season 20, which comes out September 28th. The trailer implies that Kody and Robin are looking around for a potential another sister wife, that they're going to live polygamy. And she's like, her answer is like, I can't even wrap my head around it. I can't even wrap my head around why they're doing this. Are they doing this for the cameras? So one of the things that people have talked about is like, well, what is she? Okay, now are we now that we've moved into season 19, season 20, they're not really sister wives. Are the storylines fabricated? Christine seems to imply in my interview that, is this made up for camera? Because she's like, I hope not. These two are absolute soulmates. They're in love with each other. If they're doing this, it's solely for ratings. There is no way that they are truly open to inviting someone new into their relationship. So there you have it. Again, a lot of you have already listened to it. That interview has been huge. I'm sure if you listen to my regular podcast, you listen to Christine. And then the other thing that didn't get picked up by the press, but a lot of you guys have DM'd me, is like, you all were like, well, she was damn quick to jump off your interview once you asked her what her kids thought of her book and if they were going to be on television. I will preface this. It was an honor to sit down with her. She has a lot of choices. Every news outlet wants to speak to her. And so I was so grateful. She and her PR people, the book people that were promoting it, had already told me prior to the interview, she has 20 minutes. I think and then you guys have said to me, like, don't you find it strange? She hasn't done a lot of press. I don't know. I don't know what is going on. I know for sure she sat down with like people.com. She sat down with myself. It does seem like there hasn't been a lot of press, and there has been some rumors that the promotion of this book behind the scenes has not been what I think Christine and everybody had hoped it would be. So I don't know whose fault that is. Do they have limitations by the network, or are the people publishing her book not super organized? I don't know, but there is definitely some rumblings that the book promotion isn't where they wanted it to be. But she didn't abruptly cut me off like some people are saying. She had already told me ahead of time, I have 20 minutes. David and I have to go somewhere. So I, boom, 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 knew all my questions that I wanted to ask. Okay. There you have it. So in addition to that, the book is out. Okay. The book is out, already a bestseller, top seller on Amazon. If you go and you watch, or you look at the ratings there. So what are some of the big revelations? Again, I'm going to do a breakdown of the book later this week. I'm halfway through. I think it's exceptional. I'm learning a ton about her. I think I knew that the grandfather was murdered by some other AUB kind of like, they're all kind of, once you're in the polygamy world, it's small overall. So everyone's sort of related to everybody. But she was essentially, her grandfather was murdered by some other AUB members who were connected by marriage to her family. They wanted her grandfather, who was, very well known in the church and had been like an outspoken advocate for polygamy, to endorse them, to get on board, to come to their church, to promote them. He wouldn't do it. And that created this deep-seated resentment, anger. And then the guy who had kind of gone off and started his own sect of more, crazy polygamy, ordered two of his wives to murder the grandfather, which they did. Okay, I didn't know the details. So it is so good. I think the book is so great. I think it goes into more detail and red flags that were there from the very beginning of her marriage to Kody. She says that even though some of the sister wives recall differently, Kody and Mary did nothing but fight and argue from the jump. When they were first married, it was volcanic, she describes it. So the book is great. I'm going to do a full breakdown. I think it's such an easy, quick read. I'm loving it. But one of the other things is she also revealed that she is related to Meryl Streep. So in the book, a memoir, Faith, Family, Finding Freedom, you can get it on Amazon. Christine takes her longtime fans on a winding ride. That's true. From her hit TLC show to past life, Christine is bearing it all. And Christine is also related to an original Viking. Several chapters of this memoir are reserved for more serious matters, while others talk about quirkier topics such as DNA testing. On this topic, Christine penned that she recently found out through DNA testing that she's related to Meryl Streep. But then Christine acknowledged, I'm probably just as related to you as I am to Meryl Streep. It is very, very distant. This interesting detail pops up, and Christine recalls her long ago labor and delivery experience with her daughter, Gwen. Channeling Meryl through her music selections, Christine asked her team to turn on ABBA. I said, I got this, but thankfully the pain never got that bad. They turned on Mamma Mia, which of course Meryl Streep played in. But there was more. Christine also discovered that her genetic coding places her in the same lineage as siblings Jake Gyllenhaal, Maggie Gyllenhaal, as well as the original Viking. Okay, there's an original Viking? Like, I don't really? Okay. Didn't really realize that. Oh, I guess someone did have to start the whole thing. So anyhow, there was that. And then there's also a brief admission of a painkiller addiction, which that was mind-blowing and new. I don't think anyone had heard that. She says she didn't feel okay for so long. In the memoir, she opens up as the third wife, and of course married to Kody for 25 years. She explained that she was first introduced to an opiate after having surgery to repair a torn ACL and meniscus in 2016. Post-op, Brown Woolley wrote that she was feeling like she had the flu while she was being achy head to toe. She was prescribed oxycodone for pain management, but wasn't told how much and how addictive the pill was. After trying it for the first time, she said that all the symptoms went away. She felt amazing. Brown added, quote, it gave me the best high I had ever felt. I was on top of the world. I could accomplish anything. She soon began counting down the minutes until she could take her next pill and heavily relied on the drug for about a month before realizing she was completely addicted. Getting clean was the real challenge. It was very difficult. And even though I was in it for a month, the effects of it lasted at least 6 months, she says. I didn't feel normal, she wrote. I didn't feel okay for so long after stopping the pain meds. So once I was done and felt better, I just felt good. And in the end, it felt so much better to be clean and off it. She says that she'd stayed clean since since getting off of it in 2016. And I realized that with writing the book, that's something I didn't go back and revisit was the addiction of oxycodone. But she says it's absolutely true. So there you go. The book continues to get a lot of discussion. A lot of people very interested. Let's shift gears. And before we do that, I just want to thank you guys so much. I'm going to be doing my mug giveaway again. If you're like, Sarah, what is this? Every single month, all spring, I gave away to the first 10 people who every month, the beginning of the month, wrote a podcast review for me on Apple. If you write a 5-star review, tell me what you like about the show, maybe something you want to improve, I would send you a free Sarah Fraser Show coffee mug, which I have right here. And I drink from mine often. I'm going to be bringing it back, so stay tuned. In the meantime, I just wanted to thank you. I appreciate you guys supporting this podcast. I put out 7 podcast episodes a week. They're all free. And I would love if you frequent my sponsors. I hand select and actually use every single sponsor that is on this show. Many, because you guys buy so frequently, have been longtime users and supporters of mine. From Nutrafol, Quince has been on for years. Rula has been on all this year. I'm so grateful. Horizon Fibroids was on for 7 years because so many of you had been having fibroids in the DC region and reached out to Dr. Will Neem. So if you could pick one of my sponsors and purchase from them, it would mean everything. We have some great ones this month. Cowboy Colostrum, which is an unbelievable direct like protein milk source. They're one of the best in the country. They're just a great protein shake. They make you feel better overall. Love their products. As I mentioned, Rula online therapy that just costs $15 for the average user. Quince, Nutrafol, and many more. So you can always see my advertisers in the description of this podcast episode, and please frequent them. I'll let you know as soon as possible about bringing back the mug giveaway. My mug woman who creates and sells them moved, but she is now settled, and she said, I'm ready. I got your mugs ready. I got 10 already ready to ship. So we'll do that very, very soon if you haven't already gotten a Sarah Fraser Show podcast mug. Okay, this sort of makes me a little bit happier, I guess. Kristen Cabot has now moved to divorce her CEO husband after being caught with her boss on a Coldplay kiss cam. We all know the story. She and Andy Byron, who is the CEO of Astronomer, Kristen was the head of HR. She ended up resigning after this all went down, were caught on the kiss cam at Coldplay, hid, did this weird, awkward thing. Well, she's getting an unlikely supporter who's basically telling everybody her soon-to-be ex-husband's a dick. He's getting his karma. The guy never gave a shit about Kristen and doesn't care at all about this scandal except for family embarrassment because he's old school Bostonian money. And essentially by the way, if you're following this, Kristen Abbott's soon-to-be ex-husband, okay, so they're married. It's his ex-wife. Okay, his ex-wife is going around talking to news sources and is like, yeah, good for Kristen. And she said it's not that scandalous on Kristen's end because Kristen and her soon-to-be ex-husband had been having divorce issues or marriage issues for a long time. So Andrew Cabot is her CEO husband that she's getting ready to split from. And legal documents have been obtained by news outlets that she filed the petition in Portsmouth, New Hampshire on August 13th, less than a month after the embarrassing moment when she went viral. Julia, who, by the way, is Andrew Cabot. So Andrew Cabot's the Bostonian, wealthy, old school money, married to Kristen Cabot. Julia, like this ex-wife, like I love an ex-wife scorn. She tells news outlets, yes, immediately after it happened, I texted Andrew. And he said, quote, Kristen's life has nothing to do with me. And he said they were separating. Julia goes on. Apparently their marriage had been on the rocks for some time, she tells news outlets, before the incident, with Andrew playing it cool upon learning that his wife had become the subject of global ridicule while he was on a business trip to Japan. Quote, he's saying it has nothing to do with him, even though they were married and shared a house. But then the only thing he cares about is money, says Julia, his ex. This woman goes on to roast him. She says it's karma because he's also a dick. Julia says that Andrew is not a nice person. Other friends of the couple who wanted to remain anonymous have also come forward and backed up Julia. Quote, now something not nice has finally happened to Andrew. That's why after it happened, I got loads of texts from people with one word, says Julia, the ex-wife, karma. It was like, what you give, you get. She added, quote, personally, I don't think he's affected by what happened at all. I don't think his feelings are hurt. He's probably embarrassed, if anything. Julia went further to describe Andrew as a descendant of Boston, an old money family, which means he's from one of the most elite upper class families in the state. She noted that his ego is too big and unlikely to be affected by this. She added that the only thing he's bummed about is perhaps maybe the embarrassment. According to the news outlet, Andrew and Kristen tried medication to restore the spark in their marriage, but that seemed to have proved no good use. So what were they doing, ayahuasca? I wouldn't say he's husband material. This is the ex-wife. She goes on. I wouldn't call him husband material, but she doesn't seem like she's wife material either, says Julia. So there you go. Oh my God, I freaking love this ex-wife. She like held nothing back. I love it. I don't know what the update is, by the way, for the CEO of Astronomer. He was also married, which was really sad, Andrew Byron. Apparently his wife did move out of their home, but there's no word on if they are officially getting divorced or not. According to Daily Mail, she moved out of their marital home in Massachusetts to the couple's luxury holiday estate in Kennebunkport, Maine. Hey, Kennebunk. That's a good place. They'll leave you alone in Kennebunk, Maine. As you know, I'm a Mainer. So I freaking love that ex-wife. Obviously the story was sad, right? Because both Kristen and the CEO of Astronomer have kids. I think they're a little bit older, but what a hot take from the ex-wife of Kristen Abbott's also soon-to-be ex-husband. Like, she's like, yeah, you know what? Kristen's not really right material, but my ex is getting the karma he deserves. He's an asshole. Doesn't that make you feel much better? I'm like, wow, this is probably going to really impact these people. I always love when there's something in life like, okay, this is a terrible story. I'm going to just say it, whatever. We live in California. ICE is like everywhere out here, right? So it's like awful, right? You're like seeing people get deported from Home Depot. It's like, oh my God, this is crazy. But anyway, I know somebody, their brother-in-law just got deported, like picked up by ICE, gone. They don't know like where he is. I think he's being shipped back to Mexico or something. And she's like, it's fine, actually. His wife's thrilled. He's kind of a douche. I'm like, I love it when stuff you think like, oh, is this going to devastate this family? This person was like, we're actually kind of happy about it. Like, don't you want to know? I want to kind of write a stand-up comedy bit for everybody in this country that's actually thrilled that their relative was picked up by ICE. Like, you know what I mean? There's like terrible. It's not horrible. It's dark humor here on TSFS. Now most of it's sad, right? Like people are losing their parents, but you have to think like there's actually people out there that are like, thank God for ICE, finally got rid of him. Yeah, she said that her sister is doing great and the brother-in-law has been deported back to Mexico and they're all really happy. Like, I mean, poor ICE. They get no love, but there are a couple people out there that are like, you know what? Thanks, ICE. And Kristen Abbott, here we go. Apparently, it wasn't that shocking. They'd already been separated. The marriage was trouble. They'd been using ayahuasca to try to connect. That wasn't helping. Oh my God, I'm sorry. Let's move on to JonBenet Ramsey. Poor JonBenet. We're finally going to get, I think we're going to get this crime solved. Did any of you all go to CrimeCon down in Texas? CrimeCon multi-day, event where obviously true crime has become so huge, right? JonBenet Ramsey's dad, John Ramsey. Now I'm a fan, right? He did like a sit down documentary too with crime junkies that like kind of changed my whole opinion about him. But basically he's on a mission. He's in his early 80s. He's like, my daughter was murdered 30 years ago, 1996. I want this murder solved before I die. And I'm trying to do everything I can. And we know through a recent documentary that the Colorado police team have DNA that they've been sitting on. They haven't been able to test because there's been multiple turnovers of police chiefs and delays. And they've got 200 homicide cases ahead that they're trying to solve, yada, yada. Well, at CrimeCon this past week, John Ramsey went there and he says that DNA is being tested by a reliable source. He believes they could have a hit and an update in this case very soon. He says rapidly advancing DNA techniques are finally going to bring a breakthrough, I believe, in this decade-long case. He also says that there is new evidence being tested. He doesn't allude to the fact if it's by the Boulder police, but he said that he still is expressing his optimism with recent changes in Boulder's police leadership. He said he's seen, quote, very encouraging signs, and there could be a breakthrough very close on the horizons. Even decades later, Ramsey still remembers his daughter's electric personality and continues to fight for answers. She's very energetic and amazing. My goal is before I pass that we know the killer. So it's kind of unclear if this DNA is being tested by Boulder police. I feel like it is, but maybe it's also a private source. So unspecified items retested in the JonBenet Ramsey case. Dozens of items in the nearly 30-year-old unsolved case are now being tested for DNA at the Colorado Bureau of Investigations. Thank you. In a renewed effort by Boulder police to find the 6-year-old's killer. The unspecified items range from old evidence, which is being retested due to breakthroughs in DNA technology, to clues from the basement crime scene, which have never undergone forensic testing. So this is huge. So John Ramsey announced this. Says we could be getting some answers. Wouldn't that be wild if that is solved? Like in his lifetime? That'd be crazy. Like I think it's happening. I think it's happening, which is great. Again, I used to think it was the parents until, remember they did that CBS documentary, they blamed the son. And then the son and John Ramsey sued CBS, I think, for like $100 million because it's not the son. I really don't think it's the family. I think the police department fucked up. John Ramsey's been so sweet. He's done so many interviews. I just think there's no way you're pushing on this hard if it's your kid. There's just no way. Okay, final story I wanted to get to. We're having on true crime today, which is kind of like ironic because I don't usually watch a lot of true crime, but I consider the unknown number case true crime light. I couldn't, like I've told you guys this multiple times, but the yogurt shop murders, which is on HBO, can't do it. Can't get through it. It's just it's too sad. It's too dark. But where is everybody now from this documentary? Everybody is watching. Lauren Lakari is the girl in high school that was bullied by phone message by her own mother, Kendra. An FBI agent finally in the documentary, after like a freaking year and a half of this cyberbullying on the phone, Bradley Peter is the one, and they reveal this on camera. It's like shocking if you haven't watched this. It's been out for a week or two, so spoiler. Kendra is the one doing it, okay? Yeah. And it's so effing bizarre. Her mother had bullied her for 2 years. And this comes after in the documentary, and we're going to give an update right now on where everyone is. Chloe Wilson was at first the scapegoat. Wilson went to school with Lauren. They didn't get on well. Chloe had been labeled by a lot of people at high school as kind of a bully, mean girl. Well, now Chloe Wilson, is giving an update. She got a volleyball scholarship and is in her freshman year of college. She told The Cut she believes Lauren knew that it was her mother, Kendra, that was catfishing her all along, considering that Lauren frequently was testing her mom in class. Sounds like Chloe also now today doesn't have a lot of empathy for Lauren. McKenny, also in it, was a homecoming king in his senior year, enrolled at Hope College in Holland, Michigan, where he plays baseball. He and Lauren haven't spoken since they broke up. That was the boyfriend that was also harassed. And Kendra was revealed as the catfish. Where is Lauren Lakari now? Lauren graduated from Beale City High School and lives with her dad, Sean, who has full custody. In the documentary, she said she spoke to her mother about twice a week, but hasn't been allowed to see her. It sounds like even now she sees her mom occasionally because her mom is out of jail. And she plans to go to college and study criminology. Okay. I don't know. Really? I mean, I guess you've got some firsthand experience. Or did you know about it? Because that's really what people are trying to figure out with this documentary now. Did Lauren know? I mean, because this is it is, I will say this is kind of a maddening documentary to watch. The first 30 minutes, you're like, really? I don't know. It's like, wouldn't they take the phones away? I don't know. It did seem a bit obvious this had to be coming from, and they did say that, someone close, but I don't know. I'm just like, you wouldn't have a fucking phone if that was happening to you, because Kendra, the mom, is like telling her to kill herself. She should be anorexic. The messages are bonkers. So speaking of Kendra, the mother, in 2023, she agreed to plead guilty to 2 stalking counts and was sentenced to 19 months to 5 years in prison. She only does like 6 months. She said it was, quote, a blessing that she got caught. Otherwise, she never would have stopped. That's what she told the judge. And then she was released in 2024. She now lives with her family near Detroit. I got to go look up this crazy bitch when I go back to West Bloomfield. Actually, would the irony be if someone stalked her? I mean, I'm sure the interwebs are having their way with her. I'm sure they've exposed like every place she lives. She says in the film that she wasn't entirely sure why she did what she did. Okay. But she does believe that it may stem from unprocessed trauma of sexual assault when she was younger. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. That's awful and traumatic, and you can definitely act out in a lot of ways when that happens to you. But damn. Despite participating in the documentary, she previously had written an email to the Cut publication. Quote, I do ask that you truly think about the kids, minor kids, that are involved in this situation, including my daughter, who is trying to move forward and has a bright future ahead of herself. These stories are doing additional harm to her. Too late, bitch. Come on. You did the most damage. I can handle the pain, but she cannot and does not deserve it. You're a fucking nut. She's moving forward with life and doesn't deserve to be put in the spotlight anymore or having people thinking her mom is a villain. Okay. Now, look, do I think they can find a way, I guess, to have a relationship? Sure. Is it ever going to be normal? Not really. Kendra maintains that she didn't send the first set of messages, but said that when she saw how the community came together to support her daughter and the family, that's when she enjoyed the attention and started getting involved herself. Oh, she's so weird in the documentary, so weird. So we'll see how it all goes. And Sean Lakari, the dad, and Kendra divorced, of course, while she was in prison. He still lives in Beale City, where he works as a mechanic and enjoys spending time with Lauren. He said in the documentary that since Kendra's arrest, he's come to dad even more and described his daughter as a beautiful young woman, and their relationship is strong. So there you have it. Okay, you guys, full week of shows ahead. David Yontif will be here behind the velvet rope. We'll talk Bravo on Thursday and Saturday. And of course, the madness of Welcome to Plathville. The madness continues. I'll do a recap of season 7, episode 8 on Wednesday. Bye, everybody.